Hospital, Mysore. And I would be your host for today's program. The galaxies of intellectuals, our excellencies, invited guests, teachers, my dear students and friends. Dear audience, today we all are here for the inaugural ceremony of online international webinar for 2 days for the first time organized by Government Nature Cure and Yoga Medical College and Hospital under the guidance of the Commissioner, Department of Ayush, Bangalore. It's an immense pleasure to start the inaugural ceremony by inviting our Commissioner, Sri Ramachandra, IFS, Department of Ayush, Government of Karnataka, Bangalore, an eminent and dynamic officer. Our guest, Dr. Nilesh Pramod Korde, MD in Ayurveda, PhD, Professor, Gomantak Ayurveda Medical College and Research Center, Shiroda, Goa. And our principal, Dr. K.S. Radhakrishna Ramarao, Government Nature Cure and Yoga Medical College and Hospital, Mysore. Prayer is an action. It is a process of talking with God. In order to achieve a purpose, let us begin this inaugural ceremony by seeking the blessings of Lord Almighty with a prayer song. I now request Ms. Meghna, House Surgeon of our college, to grace this occasion with the prayer song. Over to you, Meghna.
Ya Kundendum Tusharahara Dhavala Ya Subhravastra Ya Veena Varadanda Mandita Kara Ya Shvetam Padmasana Ya Brahmachyuta Shankara Devare Sada Pujita Samavati Saraswati Bhagavati Nisheshajanapaha. ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.
Thank you, Ms. Meghna, for showering this ceremony with God's grace by a devotional song. Yoga is considered to be an ancient practice that has originated from 5,000 years ago in India. The date of June 21st was chosen as it is the summer holidays, the day where the most sun out of every other day of the year. On the occasion of 7th International Day of Yoga, our institution has arranged many events on online platform from our college for our students and general public in this pandemic situation. Now, I would request our principal, Dr. K.S. Radhakrishna Ramarao, a person who always visioned our institution to an esteemed heights, to deliver the welcome speech for the dignitaries and the gathering. Over to you, sir.
Good morning. Respected dignitaries, honorable guests, speakers, participants, and my dear students. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the 7th International Day of Yoga 2021. Government Nature Cure and Yoga Medical College Teaching Hospital is delighted to organize international webinar on yoga with the tagline, "Be with yoga, be at home" on today and tomorrow. Yoga is the journey of discovering the self. It is an ancient and beautiful practice of India that is linked to all aspects like physical, spiritual, and mental aspects. It calms and relaxes the body and soul and helps to stay fit and healthy. Today it's an honor to have with us Sri Ramachandra, IFS, Commissioner, Department of Ayush, Karnataka, who will inaugurating this online international webinar on yoga. Sir has worked as a head of various departments like Khadi Gramodyoga, Pollution Control Board, Secretary of Karnataka Environment Department, and has tremendous administrative experience. Our department is proud to have you, sir, as a commissioner.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
With this able guidance, our college has conducted various events related to International Yoga Day. I am sure we will be able to do much more academic activities and programs on various occasions under his guidance. I welcome Sri Ramachandra sir to this inauguration program of International Webinar on Yoga. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you
As
so
a
much.
guest of honor today, we have with us an eminent person, Dr. Nilesh Kode, Professor and HOD Department of Sharira Rachana, GAM and RC, Shiroda, Goa. He is a luminary in the field of Ayurveda, Yoga and philosophy. Dr. Nilesh Kode has a huge experience both as academician and clinician. He had been an ambassador of Ayurveda not only in India, but also in UK and USA. It is a privilege to have Dr. Nilesh Kode today. I welcome you, sir, for the international. For me to welcome speakers who are going to talk on different areas of yoga. I welcome Dr. B.R. Ramakrishna, Vice Chancellor, S. Vyasa University, Bangalore, Sri Lakshmisha Bhat, Philosophy Teacher, Sharath Yoga Center, Mysore, Sri Vinish, Yoga Instructor, Yoga Sudha Ayurveda Hospital, Kottayam, Madam Jessica, Kundalini Yoga Teacher, Italy, Dr. Thomas Jose, Wellness Consultant, Thailand, Madam Olga Boldyreva, International Yoga Teacher, Russia, and Sri Ajay Tokas, Yoga Teacher, New Delhi. I also welcome RMO, teaching and non-teaching staff of our college. Finally, once again, I welcome one and all on behalf of Government Naturopathy and Yoga Medical College and Teaching Hospital for this program. Thank you.
Thank you for the welcome speech, sir. And I take this opportunity to heartily welcome you for this event. Welcome you, sir. This is the moment we all are waiting for and the reason for gathering. So it's time to call upon our Honorable Commissioner, Sri Ramachandra, IFS, Department of Ayush, Government of Karnataka, who always been motivating for the upliftment of our institution to inaugurate the program by the inaugural speech. Welcome you, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Radhakrishna Rao, and all dignitaries on the webinar who have joined from even outside our country. And also I thank all our student leaders and students from our college and other colleges for giving me an opportunity of inaugurating this international webinar on yoga on the occasion of 7th International Day of Yoga. So you all know that so the country is celebrating, rather not only country, the international level, our Yoga Day is being celebrated on 21st of June. And on this occasion, the ministry has also organized several functions online, virtual functions. And as you know, this is the pandemic situation. Because of pandemic situation, the ministry has avoided having a physical meeting or functions or offline functions. So instead, the ministry has advised all our state governments to go ahead with the use of social media, extensive use of social media, and also the webinars, and internet, and the TV channels and print media for giving more importance for the practice of yoga all over the world. So last week I attended one of the meeting organized by Ayush Ministry, in which they have emphasized mostly to conduct this sort of programs on international level so that the message of yoga, our Indian culture, can get spread across the world, and it is for the best well-being of the mankind. So this is what the message they have given during the ministry meeting. So as a part of that activity, even the state of Karnataka is also organizing few programs on online. Like one such program is this international webinar on yoga. This is being organized by our college, Yoga College, and I should thank Dr. Radhakrishna for organizing this sort of webinar on a large scale, especially inviting the guest speakers from across the world, Italy and so many other countries. He has made an arrangement to invite those people. In fact, this is going to be a very good webinar on collection of information and dissemination of information across the world to all concerned in this field of yoga. Since I have a meeting scheduled at 11, so I'll be briefly, cut shorting my entire speech to give a message to you that this webinar should be beneficial to both the audience as well as to the speakers. In fact, a lot of things are going to be shared here mutually between the speaker and as well as the participants. So there might be some outcomes, maybe some good outcomes, and those outcomes should be recorded and it should be published in a form of a small booklet. I request Dr. Radhakrishna to see that each and every webinar is going to be concluded with a recommendation or a sort of the guidelines or sort of a conclusion. It should come in the form of a booklet so that it will be a beneficial the record for the next webinars. So in this direction, I think you would act and you would collect the information and circulate among all his colleagues and entire the fraternity of yoga fraternity and naturopathy fraternity. So I also thank Dr. Nilesh, who has joined from Goa, and from his the profile I came to know he is an expert in the field of yoga and Ayurveda. And thank you, Doctor, for joining. And we will be benefited. In fact, we will be benefited. Our students are going to be benefited. And our people who have joined this webinar are also going to be benefited from your rich experience. So I take this opportunity to get this webinar inaugurated. I am very happy to inaugurate this webinar. And there will be a fruitful discussion on this webinar. And I expect, as I told you, to come out with very good conclusions with recommendations at the end of this webinar. Thank you so much. And I thank all the participants here for joining this webinar. And also I thank profusely the principal of the college, Dr. Radhakrishna, and his staff who have actually organized so nicely on the occasion of this Yoga Day. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to inaugurate this webinar. Thank you so much, Doctor.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
It was a motivational speech which gives all of us support to continue conducting the program in future. Thank you, sir, for addressing the gathering and inaugurating the international webinar in all your busy schedule. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
As we know, we all are here for the inaugural ceremony of online international webinar for 2 days on 15th June and 16th June 2021. Now, I request Dr. Suman Girish to put light on the glimpse of the international webinar for 2 days. Over to you, Dr. Suman.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lakshmi. First of all, good morning, one and all. Today, I take the opportunity and I would like to give a glimpse of our guest speakers of our international webinar on yoga, which will be conducted on 15th and 16th of June 2021. Firstly, our first session will be conducted by Sri Lakshmisha Bhat, Sanskrit and Philosophy teacher, Sharat Yoga Center, Mysuru. Topic on Astanga Yoga at 12 p.m. And second session will be conducted by Mr. Vinish, MSc Yoga, PG Diploma in Yoga, Yoga instructor, Yoga Sudha Ayurveda Hospital, Kottayam. Topic will be View of Astanga Yoga in Spirituality and Mental Health. Time will be at 2:30 p.m. Now, third session will be conducted by Mrs. Jessica Ananda Jeevan Kaur, Kundalini Yoga teacher, Italy. Topic Kundalini Yoga, time at 3:30 p.m. And the day 2 guest speakers will be, on the day 2, our first guest speaker will be a Dr. Thompson Jose, DNYS, Wellness Consultant, Phuket, Thailand. Topic will be Career Opportunities after BNYS. Time at 9 a.m. And second session, Mrs. Olga Boldireva, International Yoga Teacher, Art of Living Organization, Ulan Yurt, Russia. Topic will be on General Well-Being of Russians at 10 a.m. And the third session will be conducted by Dr. B.R. Ramakrishna, BSAM, BAMF, MD Ayurveda, MSc and PhD Yoga, Vice Chancellor, Eswasa University, Bangalore. Topic will be on Yoga for Promotion of Positive Health at 11:30 a.m. And the fourth session will be conducted by Mr. Ajay Tokas, Yoga teacher, New Delhi. Topic on Yoga and Pranayama at 2:30 p.m. I request all the participants to participate in the very informative session and enlighten their knowledge. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Suman Girish. Now, it's time to invite our guest of honor. So, now I call upon Dr. Deepak to brief and introduce about Dr. Nilesh Pramod Kodre, Professor, Gomantak Ayurveda Medical College and Research Center, Shiroda, Goa. Over to you, Doctor.
It's my immense pleasure to introduce today's guest of honor, Dr. Nilesh Pramod Kodre. Dr. Kodre was aware of the greatness of Ayurveda from a very young age. A world-renowned Ayurveda physician who was patronized by the Portuguese regime in Goa was his relative. He trained in Ayurveda at Bangalore, Karnataka. Besides academics, Dr. Kodre always came to learn more about the clinical applications of Ayurveda, and he became expert in relieving the pain and suffering of patients. Dr. Kodre specialized in Sharira Rachana from the University of Pune. He had been associated with Gomantak Ayurveda Mahavidyalaya and Research Center in Shiroda, Goa for the last 27 years. He served as professor and head of the Department of Rachana Sharira and influenced many young minds and achieved excellence in Ayurveda. Dr. Kodre is a multifaceted personality with varied interests in music, fashion, travel, and food. It is proud to know that he had been an ambassador for Ayurveda, not only in India, but also in UK and USA, where he has been practicing and teaching for the 17 years. It's our pleasure to have you here, sir. Once again, I welcome you, sir. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Deepak. At the onset, let me grace the presence of Ramchandra sir, who has been the force behind conducting all the activities of Ayush in Karnataka, in presence of my dear friend, Dr. K.S. Radhakrishna Rao, the organizing committee of this fantastic international conference, and all the dignitaries present. It is an honor to be a part of this international organization, this international conference. It is indeed an honor to share the same platform with a lot of high-profile Ayurveda practitioners who've made their names or carved their niche in the existence of yoga all over the world. To begin with, I was quite touched upon by the first chanting of Omkara, which actually got all of us together. It was just one chant, but all of a sudden, we all had our ears pricked up to the sound and the reverberations which were created by this one chant. Yoga, Ayurveda have always gone hand in hand. Rather, in the first chapter of Charaka Samhita, when he speaks about the formation of the human body and the purpose of taking birth, he also mentions about the ways of progression of the soul. If we basically look at our existence, it is a conglomerate of the 5 gross elements, which all of us know as the Panchamahabhut Tattvas, which have a journey from subtle to gross and gross back to subtle again. The entire process of conceptus takes place between the sperm and the ovum in presence of nothing but your soul, which includes its own elements for the formation of the body. Intriguing indeed, isn't it? This whole body has a purpose of existence. Now, what is the purpose of existence that we talk about? Is it merely being born and then growing up, taking education, earning money, wealth, buying a lot of material goods out of it, and then further going towards procreating and further going towards a retirement life, wherein you will be playing your golf or you will be doing a different activities that you chose to as a retired person. And in between, going through a lot of sufferings, which may either be physical, spiritual, mental, emotional. On the broad spectrum, what we expect out of life today is that I should be able to purchase whatever I want. And for that purpose, I should be working hard enough to earn the money. And for that purpose, I will be putting in all my efforts towards earning the money so that my success is graded by the amount of wealth I have earned. My success is graded by the lavish lifestyle that I would like to live, or my success is graded by what name and fame I have achieved. I don't think so that this is what Indian culture spoke about. Never was so much importance laid upon physically owning material wealth. In fact, the entire greatness was bestowed upon a human being who was able to actually go through a path and then able to lead the path, which spoke about moksha, which spoke about salvation. In between, whatever we are able to enjoy was taken as a part of the living. Right in Sutrasthana of Charaka Samhita, the entire purpose of our existence has been said in four folds. That is, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. There has never been a time wherein you have to be moving away from enjoying the pleasures of existence. Now, this is what led me into going deeper into understanding our presence on this, or the existence of this embodiment on the earth. What is it that makes one human being eat from a 5-star hotel? And what is it that makes one human being beg for eating? Isn't this vast a contrast of human existence? Why is it that we have this much of differences in existence of one human body? What is it that makes it different? Though physically we are all gifted by the same type of body. I wouldn't call them similar, but structurally same types of bodies. I mean, all of us have eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, the 5 sense organs, the 5 motor organs, a physical body which has got a heart, liver, stomach, everything. When all of us are given these similar structures, what is it that transpires the existence of an embodiment into different levels of existence? Therein, we get to notice that we don't merely exist with physical strength. We exist with a balance of physical as well as spiritual strength. And that means we exist with a balance of Sharira and we exist with the energy of Sharira and the Atma. Now, when we talk about both of these existences together, we think, well, there are 2 forms of energies that create as well as sustain existence. One is your physical energy and one is your spiritual energy. The physical energy comes from your physical body, and the spiritual energy is what you carry with yourself right from your time of birth to the acceptance of next embodiment. And the life that we say that exists in between the beginning, that is conception, till death, is the time period given for y'all for maintaining and elevating the gift of the physical body so that you are able to achieve a little more spiritual energy than your past existence. It is not merely living for enjoying pleasures, but it is a purpose wherein you will live for increasing the energy with which you have been born to a higher plane of existence, wherein when you leave the body and accept the next embodiment, you will have a higher spiritual energy. And what do we do with this spiritual energy? What do we do with this spiritual energy? Do we actually enjoy the spiritual energy? How do I gain it? And how do I pass it on? Your first chant that you said, Omkar, what was that? Why did it make me feel good? What was it in that that made me feel calmer, a little more silent, a little more introspective, a little more in the moment? That's exactly what we fail to understand. I'm not negating over here that we all are gifted with buddhi, and that is why we are all existing at a higher level of existence than what my few fellow other human beings are existing. So when you chanted your Omkara, what did you do? You created sound waves, which are the same sound waves which were created at the time of creation of this universe. So that becomes the primordial sound. That becomes the primordial sound of existence. And this primordial sound forever has been existing since creation. Now, this is where we talk about gaining energy. So when I chanted the Om,
International Yoga Day, on the
what did I do?
Webinar, all speakers. A link illa nam KPM
I'm sorry, there is a disturbance in between by Dr. Prasad Holla. If he could just switch off his microphone, it will be more convenient for all the others. Well, so let me get back to where I began. Yes, so the primordial sound has its existence, which is reverberating all over. So that means it is a source of energy, right? Now, if I chant the same in the same pattern as it exists, then what is going to happen in my body? My body is going to resonate at the same resonance or sound waves that is created by the primordial sound. And when my body resonates at the same sound, that means I will be elevated at a higher level of existence. It is just a very simple mathematical calculation with the laws of physics that we have learned up till the 12th. Resonance creation, I think we all did by using an experiment called as Meld's experiment, wherein we tied a thread and then there was a weight tied and the tuning fork vibrated to a certain frequency. And at the time of vibration of the tuning fork to that frequency, we saw crests and troughs being created of the wave, wherein if the tuning fork vibrated at a certain frequency wherein the weight was balancing, you could see the height at which the wave grew. Now, that's exactly what happens when we who exist in constant vibrations tune our bodies to accept the vibrational sounds of nature, the frequency of which we may not be able to hear, but certainly the frequency of which the body can sense. You exist at a higher spiritual plane. We've always thought about yoga as nothing but keeping ourselves physically fit, keeping ourselves looking good, feeling good, but never have we given the depth of what changes take place within the physical body when you practice this, which are observed not only by your physical body, but also by the little existential energy, which I call as soul. This energy, in turns, collects the energy which it possesses and makes the preparation for the next embodiment. The entire Indian philosophy talks about multiple lifetimes. It doesn't talk about existence of one lifetime. So when we say that there are multiple lifetimes towards progression and elevation of oneself to join the energy of the cosmos, be one with the energy of the cosmos. I just mentioned before this that we have a vibrational existence. If you look at the creation of the entire universe, where did we come from? All of us have heard about the Big Bang Theory. And when we say the Big Bang Theory, we mean there was a huge, loud bang that was created. And through this bang, we had the formation of the entire universe. This is what the theory that has been accepted all over. Let us go back and see what Sankhyas had to say about it. We all came into existence from avyakta, that is, which was not exhibited. How did we come into existence from avyakta? The entire sattva that was there, it actually thought that if I have to grow, if I have to gain more energy, then I need to expand and change my form of expansion. And through this, had two subtle forms of energies that were created, which we term as the masculine energy and the feminine energy, that is Prakriti and Purusha. And Prakriti did not have its own methods by which it would grow. So it required the initiational phase to be charging the Prakriti, by virtue of which it had the capacity to expand. Now, this capacity to expand was developed only when the initiator began to charge the Prakriti. And that is how we came into existence. The moment it charged, it started growing to such an extent that it could no longer be contained within itself. And when it no longer could be contained within itself, it had to blast. And when it blasted, its structure totally changed. I will give you a small example to understand this. We all have done the exercise of blowing a balloon up, right? When we blow a balloon up, we blow it until it grows into a huge structure. But when it no longer can withhold within it the air that you've blown, it bursts. And as it bursts, what happens? The structure of the balloon is entirely changed. And at the same time, you have dispersion of the air that was accumulated in one place into multiple places around. It just expands and throws itself out, and therein the entire change starts taking place. Well, that was a simple way of explaining it. This is exactly the way the universe was created. But let us follow the same thing back and say, what was it that was created first at the time of existence? Yes, it was the sound. It was the sound that was created first at the time of existence. So we all know that the potential for sound energy is the highest. The sound energy is the highest form of energy that exists around, and it exists everywhere in space. If you look on the internet, you will find that each of this planet has got its own sound. But the sound of the universe, as the sound of the sun is, nothing but Omkara. So if that is the highest existing potential of sound, you can well imagine what change it will give in your physical and spiritual existence as you chant it every day. You will ask me, how will the change be created? Well, we all have seen a glass falling down on the ground, right? You've seen the structure of glass that exists before it falls on the ground. What happens to the structure of glass when it falls on the ground? It no longer holds its own structure. It is thrown into bits, it is thrown into smithereens, as I would call it. But with what? Along with the creation of sound. This is very, very important for us to know that for any change to take place in the physical body, there must be a sound responsible for that. Now, this was about physical existence. Let me give you an example of sound as a general colloquial way or general way when we speak about it. If I am to call your name out in a nice way, let me see that the first name that comes is Lakshmisha. Now I would have to say, Lakshmisha Bhat, hello, how are you doing? It is going to pass my positive vibrations to him, and he suddenly will smile and say, hello, sir, I am doing very well. Thank you very much. Let us take the opposite way. And I shout at him and say, who the hell are you, Lakshmisha? But what the hell are you doing over here? Why are you existing? Why don't you just move away from it? What is it that has created? It is again, I have used the potential of sound. The same Lakshmisha Bhat who was talking to me in a very nice manner is going to look at me crookedly and say, who the hell is this guy? What is he? What's wrong with him? At the end, he will think, why did this happen? So constantly his thought process is going to be in not a positive way, but a negative way. That is the effect of sound on the body. So when we speak to someone, when we talk to someone, it creates an impact on the inner self of him, which by virtue is going to reflect by his thought process, proving it out to you, whether whatever was done was positive or negative. I speak about this because this is where a human being differs from other lower living animals. That we have been given the jiva or the tongue, which plays two dual roles. One, as a sense organ to understand the taste, and secondly, as a motor organ wherein it speaks out. And the number of languages that are existing with the human beings are countless. But what is important is the sound which comes out, which has got the effect on your physical existence. So now, all the while you will be talking about in the next 2 days about deliberations, which are merely talking about physical body and how beneficial are the exercises of Hatha Yoga that you all will be practicing, beneficial for the physical body. Then we will be talking about the mind and the control over the mind by yoga again. And then we will be talking about the emotional part of it. And then we all will say together that it is what you do through the day which makes the difference for you, for everybody else. And then we will be happily talking about lifestyle, but we will be forgetting that we are all here for the only purpose of creating a physical body that is fit enough to sustain life for a prolonged period, so that the spiritual energy that you have been gifted is charged up, it is elevated, so that the next embodiment comes across as a better form of physical existence. Time and again, I have been coming across a lot of queries from all over the world as to how do I maintain a physical body with good health. I'm so sorry. There is a disturbance by Sujata SB. Could you please switch off your microphone? Thank you. Yeah. So time and again, we talk about the physical existence. Yeah. Again, a shloka from Charaka that says, that if you have a body which is free of diseases, then you will have a capacity, if you focus on, of existence into a realm wherein your spiritual energy is going to be charged. I have been teaching anatomy over a period of 27 years. And as I teach that physical body, I came across the beauty of what was being told by my science, which spoke about our entire formation of the human body, wherein only when the soul comes into the sperm and ovum does he put the design of the body. So it is not the sperm and ovum which has been dependent for the design of the body. It is only after the entry of the soul inside, we have the design of the body that has been formed. And why do I say this? Structurally, the sperm and the ovum are the same if you look at it under the microscope. Then we talk about the genetic material that is there inside. Now you might have brothers or sisters who have been born out of the same sperm and ovum of your parent. Structurally and genetically, aren't they the same? Then what is it that makes it different? Why is it that you are different from your brother or sister? It is only because your soul is different. And that is the only proof that I have got to show out a soul and its existence. If not, even what we see that is studied under the term of noetics in the West today, which talks about thought and its weight and soul and its weight and everything else. Yeah. So they are yet to come to a term wherein they could identify an energy. But we have it clear in front of us. In the next 2 days, I hope we all will have enough number of deliberations, which would give us time as well as introspection and increase our knowledge in the field of human existence. And why am I saying this? My dear fellow colleagues, as practitioners of naturopathy, yoga, Ayurveda, we have a little more spiritual energy than contemporary medical sciences. And that is because we understand the existence of a slightly higher being, and we understand the existence of our soul. With this, I call it a day. I am extremely, extremely grateful for the organization, for inviting me over to share my thoughts and views. I'm extremely thankful to Dr. Radhakrishna Rao and his team. And I'm thankful to all of you, my fellow colleagues, who have given me an opportunity to speak in front of you and given me a ear to my talk. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy your 2 days of Yoga International and stay connected forever. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nilesh.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your lifetime experience with different examples and explaining the human existence in Indian philosophy, a correlation of Ayurveda and yoga, how the vibrations are being sensed by the body, which helps to attain the spiritual level and its energy. Yoga is a journey of self, through the self and to the self. Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful talk. And I also thank Dr. Deepak for introducing our guest of honor. Every end is a new beginning. Saying this, I now invite Dr. Suma S, Assistant Professor, to deliver the oath of thanks to the dignitaries and the gathering.
Hello, sorry. So it's my immense pleasure to thank all the dignitaries of this function. Now I would like to show our gratitude to our beloved Commissioner, Sri Ramchandra Sir, IFS, Ayush Department, Bangalore. I thank you on behalf of our institution and organizing committee for inaugurating the international webinar and spending his valuable time with us. In his absence, I thank him. I thank you, sir. And secondly, I would like to thank a guest of honor, Dr. Nilesh Pramod Korde, Professor, Gomantak Ayurveda Medical College and Research Center, Shiroda, Goa, for being a part of this function. I thank you, sir. It's time to show our gratitude to our beloved principal, Dr. K.S. Radhakrishna Ramarao, to being continuously supporting and guiding in all aspects. I thank you, sir. And I also thank Dr. Hariganesh, Residential Medical Officer, GNCYMC and H, Mysore, for attending this function. I thank you, sir. And also I thank Senior Medical Officer Dr. Natraj and Organizing Secretary Dr. Bharatchandra V, and the organizing committees and the house judges, the teaching and non-teaching faculties of a college, and all my students for attending this function and making it a grand success. I thank you one and all.
Thank you, Dr. Suma, for the vote of thanks. A good teacher can inspire hope, ignite the imagination, and instill a love of learning. Saying this, I conclude the inaugural ceremony and request all the participants to be intact with the webinar for the first session addressed by Sri Lakshmisha Bhat. Now, I request Dr. Suman Girish, Assistant Professor, to welcome our guest speaker. Over to you, Doctor.
Thank you, Dr. Lakshmi. Good afternoon, one and all. I welcome you all for a day one of international webinar on yoga. Our first session will be conducted by Sri Lakshmisha Bhat. It's my immense pleasure to welcome Dr. Sri Lakshmisha Bhat to this session. I welcome you, sir. On behalf of our institution, organizing committee, all our students, I welcome you, sir. Before starting the session, let me introduce him to you. He was born in 1978 in a small village named called Madagiri near Gokarna in the North Karnataka, India. He studied Sanskrit by the traditional method in his village for continuous 8 years. In the year 2000, he came to the Mysore Maharaja Sanskrit College for further studies of Advaita Vedanta and completed in the year 2006 and also got a Vidwan title in that subject. And subsequently, he received master's degree in Sanskrit from Mysore University in the year 2006. He is a teacher of Sanskrit chanting and philosophy at the renowned Vidwan Shri K. Pattabi Joyce Ashtanga Yoga Institute in Mysore, India since 2003. Currently, he is a Sanskrit and philosophy teacher at Sharat Yoga Center, Mysore. Once again, I heartily welcome you to this session, sir. Welcome you, sir. Over to you.
वक्रतुंड महाकाय कोटि सूर्य समप्रभा अविघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा श्रीमत्पयोनिधिनिकेतनचक्रपाणि भोगीन्द्रभोगमणिरञ्जितपुण्यमूर्ते योगीश शाश्वत शरण्य भवाब्धिपोत लक्ष्मी नृसिंह मम देहि करावलम्बम्. Directly, I want to come to the point because we don't have enough time. The word yoga refers to different things in today's time. Some may understand it as an Indian form of exercise